Yesterday, President Biden announced he was going to bow out of the 2024 presidential race, writing in a statement that, quote, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." This is what everybody was asking for, and this was the decision that he made. And is everybody okay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, he's the first president since 1968 to step down. I think it shows what a statesman he is. I think it shows what a patriot he is. I think it shows that he can put his country before his ego, because he had such a great record as president. I think that history will note him as one of the greatest presidents that we've had. I really do believe that. And I wasn't comfortable with the notion that people were forcing him out. I wasn't comfortable with the cannibalization that I saw in the Democratic Party. But I am comfortable if he made this decision with his inner circle, with Dr. Jill Biden, with his family, and decided to do it on his own. The fact that he has endorsed the Vice President, Kamala Harris, to be his successor makes it even more clear to me that it's not if she's going to be the nominee, it is when she is the nominee. So
I was sad. You know, as I've said here many times, I love Joe Biden, and I'm full of gratitude to Joe Biden today. So, Joe Biden, thank you for everything. Over 54 years of career. So I was sad, you know, in the way that when you see a champion athlete retire, leave it all on the field and walk away into the sunset, that made me sad. It gave me nostalgia. I was also mad because he's been dragged relentlessly for 3 weeks by some people who supposedly were his friends. I hope that a lot of those donors that went out and said all sorts of things about him come back with a big check now. George Clooney, es contigo. You know, I'm grateful to his staff. I am grateful to Jill Biden. They've taken a lot of incoming in the last 3 weeks, a lot of attacks. They have been part of a very stable and steady administration. I will always be thankful. They took us out of the hell that was COVID, and they took us out of the hell that was Trump. For that, grateful till the end of my days.
So I am also grateful, and I thank President Biden for his decades of service, but I do push back a little on Anna and Sonny's take on the party imploding. There is room for criticism when you're talking about the biggest job in the world, and I don't think those people that are friends, even George Clooney's op-ed, was really touching and beautifully written, saying this is hard to say out loud. So a lot of those people were torn themselves. And a party, it's not a president, it's an entire party. And every election matters down that ballot as well. They were allowed to also speak up for their constituents. So I commend the people that took that risk and said we need to do this, because I do think that began some very hard conversations. But I will say, what jumps out at me is the stark contrast in how Trump handled President Biden stepping down, and how President Biden handled after Trump was, there was an attempted assassination. President Biden picked up the phone and he called the former President Trump, and he sent well wishes to the family. He right away put out unifying messages saying, you know, we're in this together. We need to tone the rhetoric down. Former President Trump jumped on Truth Social and started to berate him, has continued through this morning.
Looking at everything that is happening, we know that looking at President Biden started from a humble beginning. He came out and said that he started from a very humble beginning. President Biden, as we all know, have served the United States for a very long time, the government. He has been in the house for a very long time. He started with disability of stammering. So he said he's so proud of the United States, and he want to step down. The last speech I give, I'm so happy because the United States is so peaceful. It's the only country that you can become from nothing to something. Everything is possible if you put your determination there. It's one of the countries in the world, one of them, not only, that you can become nothing to something. You don't need to have rich parents to become something. You don't need to be born with a silver spoon as a call. But if you have a determination, you have a person with physically challenged, you can still become something. He himself said that he was being challenged with his speech defect. With his speech defect, he still became the president of the United States. Speech defect, so he could not speak well. Actually, as a person of disability, which I have a physically challenge, I could tell you that it's not easy. Anyone with any type of disability. From an example, me living with it, I was born knowing myself like that as a physically challenged. I have what they call scoliosis. And I would say that growing up as a child, the challenge was not easy because people try to stigmatize you. Actually, my case was a little bit different because my mom was a coach, a very good one to me. My mom cannot read or write, but she's a coach. It's when I grew up now, went to school, that now I know that my mom was a coach without her knowing that she's a coach. And my case is different because when I was 13 years old, that's when I started realizing that something's wrong with me, because my people in my community did not really push me away. Not for like children of my age, I could do all what they are doing. I could be in the same game. I could play with them. So actually, the only time I could remember when I was like 6 years old, I was walking and holding my leg. I could fall many times. I remember people cheering, little children just cheering at me, but I could not understand. 6 years, how will you understand? I could see children cheering, laughing at me. I would come home and cry, but I didn't still understand too much. But when I was like 12, 13 as in middle school, it hit me so bad, because I now started having bullies in school start telling me, you have this, you have this. Start telling me scoliosis, but some people call that hunchback. When I went to school, that's when I knew that the medical name was called scoliosis, which back then, ignorance, people would call it in pidgin language, they call that hunchback, and it wasn't easy, and as I'll tell you. So I understand what President Biden passed through, but I'll tell you, I was a fighter. My mind was built up because I used to read a lot. I'll read like a lot of books. My community was a small one, but because I read a lot of books, I think out of the box, so I could picture myself that where I was not I did not belong in that area. My sight was somewhere bigger because of the books I've read. Like 12 years, I'll read one book like 300 pages. I could read that like for 4 hours. Yeah, that's how I was reading. Like by the time 12 years, I could read 300 pages book like 3. I have an elder sister who used to bring books also. She too was a lover of reading. So in the night when she's sleeping, I would go all night just reading those books. So reading those novels that make my mind to be big, because obviously those authors were foreign people. They were not people in my country. Those were foreign people that read them. That's why reading now, the way have changed, and phones now have come, and children now focus on their phone, which is not a really good thing, because reading also, it helps your mind. It's an exercise for your brain. It helps your IQ to be higher. Reading does a lot of stuff. It's good for children to read, but now these children, TV, now phone, iPad, all type of things that come and take that away. But if you make your babies read, which I'm trying to make my own read, it's healthy. So I'm diverting in this video a lot. Just that physically challenged part, just that disability part, and then when I get to high school, the challenge continue. I have to I usually put on this special shoe, this special they call that caliper, but it's a brace on my leg. Those braces, I might put it up somewhere here. Those braces were not nice at all. They were very ugly. To those my braids, I'll put them on. I'll sleep with them. I put that braids for how many years? Let me see. When I was in elementary 7, let me see, 7. I took 7 years in the whole of your middle school and high school together, 7 years, right? I came to the university 4 years. I made 4 years there. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Done like for 13 years. I put on that caliper. Yes. I was in like 13 years I did put it on, and it wasn't easy. It was not easy. I'll say it again. 13 years, not even more than 13 years. Like 15 to 16 years. I put on those braids almost half of my life, and I will sleep with them. I get up with them. I do everything with it. When I put on skirt, I'll make a video on that one sometime. I'll put on skirts. Later on in life, I would like to shoot a movie about my story. Is the one that is very educative for young people. That with God everything is possible. The statement that what God cannot do does not exist. That's my story. It's a lot of stuff happen. That's why when a child put their mind on what they want to do, they have to do that. For every parent watching, you have any child, there's a lot of children come with different challenges. It might not be physical. Whatever challenge, as a parent, if you encourage them, which I'm sure that President Biden's parents also did a great job, especially mom that spend a lot of time with the children. So I know they did a great job for him to push on, because my mom did a great job with me. Push on, push on. My mom told me that I was the most beautiful girl that exists on the world. So I was very beautiful. Nobody was beautiful like me. So if I was walking, I knew my head was high. I knew I was so beautiful. I knew I was so pretty. Then my mom told me I could do anything I want to do. That I study hard. I knew my target was to study. I have to come abroad. So I would study so hard to make my marks to pass. That I just knew those boys around me, they were not even on my class. It helped me not to also have fornication, as they call it, which saved me a lot. But later on in life, I slid along the road. But it helped me that pre-age to go through, because I look at it later. What is this? My mind was so big. That's why even people of my age group at that time, even now, I don't. People of my age group, they don't, when they talk like, it took me a lot to start reasoning like people of my age group, because I could not have a conversation with them. My conversation was always people who are older than me, the women that were older than me. So it could be a lot of, yes, I guess because of reading too much, I know a lot from the books I've read. Reading to expose me with a lot of stuff. Yes, I was being exposed with it, but I knew with God everything is possible, and I can do all things to strengthen me. So I keep pushing. So I know what President Biden passed through. With all that, he became the president of the United States. So the women with a humble beginning and became a president. So the women in the views just said that it's a good thing for him, and everyone should appreciate him. What actually do you think? Do you think that from a humble beginning, from a person with a speech disability to a president of the United States, what do you think about that? Can I see your opinion in the comment section? Thank you very much for watching. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and help share the video. God bless you.